Okay, well, greetings and welcome. It is Tuesday, July 8th of 2025. Welcome to the Eccentric Perspective. I'm your host, Blake Wally. I'll be here for the next 60 to 90 minutes or so covering the latest news and current events. Of course, a big day, huge show lined up, starting a little bit late. So many tabs open. It's really hard to organize it, so we're just going to throw it all together, sort it out later. Lots of questions to ask. This is a it is a good weekend, 4th of July weekend. Everything was lining up. Maybe don't like the big beautiful bill that much. I can nitpick, but then hey, it's passed. Life is good, and then we get the bombshell Sunday night about the Epstein list. And things are just not quite the same. So the vibe has changed. The mood has shifted. It's a rough day. Could be a rough week. Could be rough midterms. I don't know. Our civilization is hanging, and the champion that so many of us supported, Donald Trump. Not saying he's turned his back on everybody, but something's wrong. And this is going to be a tough pill to swallow for all of us. But maybe there's some, there's some 4D chess going on. We're trying to be optimistic, although it certainly feels like we all just got kicked in the balls yesterday. And we're just going to have to deal with it. So, I don't know. I guess in no particular order. I have so many headlines. I don't know where to begin. Okay, here we go. Here's the thumbnail for today's show. Will the Epstein list divide the Trump base? Oh, it has so far. And I'm sure it's only going to get worse. So it was already bad enough. We had just survived a potential MAGA civil war. As we went to war with Iran, or at least seemingly did. It was just a bombing. We pulled out. Everything was cool, even though MAGA was trying to go after itself. As everybody's pointing out all the grifters and narcissists and the panicans and so much infighting. And now things are unraveling. Just randomly, Sunday night, out of the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden, here we go. Here's the Epstein list. For years, people have been trying to get some names off of it, find out what's going on, and now we're just being told, hey, it's nothing to see here. It's all over. So here, let's get into the headlines, I suppose. Though so much of it is just based on Twitter posts and what have you. As I was running through, they're kind of blur together, but let me quickly try to articulate these. Then I'm going to run an intro. We'll be back on the other side. We're going to dig in on this historic broadcast. So there is no evidence of Epstein's list or blackmail. The Epstein files must be buried to protect CIA and Israel. The list cannot be released to protect the people. We should continue to trust Trump and trust the plan. And Trump and Bannon, are they actually complicit in the Epstein cover-up? And the Epstein announcement, is it just a misdirection? And we should investigate Pam Bondi for undermining the Trump administration. And Karoline Leavitt, she removed her cross for lying and sinning. And Trump's true loyalty is with Israel and the Neocons. And Trump deserves to win the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025. And finally, on just one off subject, Democrats, should they get themselves shot to ramp up their resistance efforts? So these stories and more. And we'll answer all of those at the end. And of course, feel free to chime in, participate in the chat room, give your 2 cents, your feedback. I'd like to hear from you, incorporate it into the show, and And how's everybody feeling about these latest developments? With Epstein, is MAGA over? Is this finished? Is this going to destroy the Trump legacy? Or is he playing 4D chess? And he's just so many steps ahead of us we don't recognize. The genius that he is pulling off behind the scenes, and that's still that's still a possibility. Or perhaps there's breaking news, anything else, feel free to chime in, and we'll get your comments incorporated into the show at some point. So, all right, let's run the intro, and I will see you on the other side of this very quick 40-second break, and then we'll dive in. Here we go. Okay, we're back. Let's begin. Guess we'll just we'll start here. Again, I have so many open tabs. It's hard to say. It's all going to blur together, but we'll sort it all out in the end and answer every single one of these burning questions. So anyway. Oh, we'll start with a quick comment here. I sent a dear friend a list of predictions in December. One of them that nobody from the Diddy or Epstein lists will be named, much less charged. Yeah, well, if that is the case, you were absolutely correct. It's kind of a pessimistic and negative prediction, but it's very valid. As many people were sour on this, it's a hopeless, lost cause. That all of our leaders are basically, it's the establishment, it's them and us, and we're never going to get anything good to happen again. It's all over. We're wasting our time at the ballot box, and absolutely correct at this point. I hate to be get all black-pilled here, but I'm wearing my black-pilled Superman shirt today. Anyway, my other Superman shirt, I know they've got the new movie coming out. It's just a little interference with the green screen, which is why I'm not wearing it. But it is, we need Superman to come back and maybe sort things out, because this civilization feels like it's failing, and it's not going so well. The Trump administration, it started out good. A lot of executive orders and such, but things were moving along swimmingly, and all of a sudden there's just been multiple setbacks, and now it seems like things are unraveling, and MAGA is now infighting, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So unfortunate turn of developments here, but let's get back. So no evidence, according to the Department of Justice and the FBI, that Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed anyone, kept a client list, or was murdered. So I guess there's nothing to see. After years of speculation, it was just, there was nothing there. Then why couldn't they tell us this years ago? There is nothing there. But it took them till now. Took them till basically the night of July 6th of 2025, after they had made some promises. They had the evidence. They just needed to sort it out and make sure that there was no victims, no minors being exploited. Just to go through, just going to be an undertaking by our brave people at the FBI to go through the van load of evidence, and then we would finally get information, and then boom, nothing. Okay, there you go. 4th of July, did you enjoy it? Okay, great. Well, hey, guess what? Got the Epstein update. Oh, there is no update. It's over. Go back to bed, America. So, bit of a gut punch. So it was, yeah, the late Sunday night news dump. They found no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, or that he was murdered, or that he had a client list, and declared they won't be releasing any further Epstein related materials. What happened to that van? Was it Southern District, New York? They were going to send it to Pam Bondi and Cash Patel. They were on it. We're going to get Bongino in there as well. It's a real tragedy, I'll tell you. Okay, there was no credible evidence. Yeah, people just thought it was a memo, like, hey, don't rush to conclusions. It's probably nothing. It's just hold on. Everything's going to be cool. But no, it's been confirmed. And it gave out a video just to prove to everybody that everything was cool. They weren't hiding anything. But we have no idea. I have no idea if this is actual legit footage from that night. And of course, people are pointing out there is a missing minute right at 11:59. So here you go, America. Here's your 10-hour-long surveillance footage. They couldn't show this, 2019. What was the holdup when this happened? So is this now 6 years? It's hard to believe it's been that long since this supposed shady suicide. Oh, and we're just supposed to take their word for it. It took them this many years to finally give us the footage, and then there's a minute missing. If there's nothing to see, why couldn't they have done this a long time ago? None of this makes any sense. And we're just expected to, hey, just suck it up and deal with it. It's over. There is a missing minute at 11:59. I don't know if it's on this particular one. And even the community notes are saying the video doesn't show Jeffrey Epstein's cell. It's only a tiny sliver of staircase. Yeah, this shows nothing. So if he's on suicide watch, this is the camera they would use? That doesn't make any sense either. They're just lying to us, and it's sad. She had just said, Pam Bondi, and this is the other problem, is that she admitted having all this stuff on her desk, and that there was a van of information. Where is it?
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Bannon and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing.
A directive from President Trump to review. It's on her desk. And then a couple months later, nothing to see.
Doing that, I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president.
Man, I mean, at that time, there was such high hopes, man. We're going to get all the answers to all the burning questions we've had for decades. Finally get the answers on JFK, RFK, MLK. And then we're also going to get the Epstein list on top of it. Like, this is such a proud time that Trump took over. We're all vindicated. We're going to get truth, justice, and the American way back, as in Superman. And wow, today is July 8th, and things couldn't be worse, I suppose. And hello, the Debster. We're back. It's good to have you. Okay, yeah, maybe you had to set up a new account, because the other one seems to be, it doesn't show up most of the time. But good to see you. And the person turquoise waving, the emoji that won't show up on Restream. Okay, TK Mark, 6 years, not a single child, has been named, much less charged for all of the people. Yeah, I mean, they're getting low-level people. I mean, there are operations underway from the FBI going after human traffickers and what have you. But the low-level people, I mean, important, and they are rescuing kids, I suppose, but we're not getting any of the high-level people that we wanted. No big arrests made. There's somebody on that Epstein list. If you got the Prince Andrew and so many others, the Bill Gates or the Reid Hoffmans, or there's plenty of high-profile people that have been to that island. We know about it, and they just don't want to do anything. They're too big to jail. So there you go. Yes. All right. Well, good to have you again, Deb. Yes. Otherwise, it was weird because you'd be commenting and we wouldn't see it. But here we go. Yes. So this was the original post from Disclose on July 6th. Trump's DOJ and FBI conclude Epstein had no client list and just committed suicide. So it all settles it. Everybody's thrilled. The mystery has been solved finally after all of these years. Everybody happy now? Or not? So let's, again, in no particular order, here's a tweet from Elon today. How can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? Good question. Of course, Elon just called him out a few weeks ago in frustration, saying that the reason we didn't get the Trump file or the Epstein files is because Trump was on him. He's complicit. And people were entertaining it. Maybe that's a possibility. I also did as well. In fact, I think TK Mark was in the chat dropping that bombshell on me in the middle of the broadcast. And I was like, hey, well, it's possible. We haven't gotten the list. Trump's in power. I mean, we can speculate. It's valid. It's reasonable. Let's see. Valiant Thor. Yes, DT is definitely not on the list. We hope not, but they were good buddies back in the day. That's the thing. We're all going to have to re-explore some of these clues from the past, put them together, and maybe make different connections, and I will attempt to do so, a few of them on this show. We're going to have to talk about that. We're going to have to dig into Trump. We're going to have to dig into Steve Bannon. There's some major stuff lurking there. We're going to take a closer look at that as well. Epstein info wasn't just a ledger, nuclear level blackmail weapon, coded, protected, booby-trapped, geopolitical implications. Yeah, this is some important information. Don't want that hitting the public. It's very useful, blackmail, especially if you factor in that perhaps this is you're bringing Israel or the Mossad into this, or even if Epstein was just in the CIA. The fact that they're compromising powerful people and having them do who knows what, that's not a good situation for any of us. That's how our foreign policy is run, because of people being blackmailed by a foreign government, potentially, or from our own. Doesn't matter. Something doesn't add up, and we don't know entirely how Epstein got all of his money. That's I think that's one thing that everybody can agree on. What's going on? Where did the money come from? If the Epstein info was released, the BBB wouldn't have passed. That's probably true. Epstein memo conveniently came out a week later, and also right when Bibi Netanyahu visiting yesterday. I think he's still in D.C. So you tie all of that stuff together, and it does seem very strange. It's going to have to take a much closer look at our relationship with Israel and who's running it, and who's controlling who. So yeah, it's who knows what's going on behind the scenes with the BBB and the memo. It's very suspicious. Yes, right on the eve of Bibi coming into DC on Monday, something doesn't add up. Suicided. Elon has a point. Bannon, like what? Yeah, we're going to get into some of that too in due time in this broadcast. We'll keep zipping through. And the info could collapse the world economy in under 72 hours. There's something major going on. Yes, it's potentially could unravel the world as we know it. We don't know how high this goes, how many powerful people are involved, how many countries, and the devastation that could cause. And we just have to trust people that they're doing what's best for us. Maybe they're keeping these things secret so that things don't get worse. I mean, for society, people aren't going to be able to deal with it, or do countries collapse? That would be the only reason. And I want to stay on board with Kash Patel and Bongino. I still think those are good dudes, but they look a bit freaked out when they were in those interviews talking about, that Epstein was, there's nothing to see here. It's like they're covering up. So if he's an eyewitness, if he's on witness protection, perhaps they're not allowed to, and that's why they're lying. They're covering something up. I'm not so sure anymore. Something spooked those guys. So, which is just too many high-level people involved. And I don't know if it involves Trump or not. But is it enough to protect the secrecy for the rest of us and the rest of the world? Is it too horrible? Maybe. That's a good point, though. We don't know. Yeah, embedded so deeply in the U.S. intel, their very identity is classified. Yeah, Bongino and Patel saw some really ugly stuff. Shown things, and we're just involved in the cover. I can't believe that everybody's just all a part of some system. And we're all just being lied to, that there are no good guys. Yeah, like being thrown into a wood chipper. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's not, and they've got to be worried at some point. Who knows? They could be under threat still. Not just them, like their family. Who knows? When you get to these high-level things, it can be pretty dangerous. All right, well, let's see. I know somebody's happy. Ben Shapiro saying the Department of Justice has put the Epstein mystery to rest. No client list, no blackmail scheme, no fortune, no murder. Epstein did make his money through. Well, anyway, that's his. Let's let Benny talk in his own words.
We now have the answers. And the problem is this. People who never hedged their bets, people who never at any point suggested to you that they don't have data to back up the speculation, that the speculation was in and of itself the conclusion, that if you speculate without evidence, that amounts to an actual conclusion to an investigation, they're going to be very upset today, because it turns out that the DOJ and the FBI have concluded that Epstein didn't have a client list and died by suicide. According to a memo detailing the findings.
It took him, if you're going to believe this, it took him that long to figure out that there was nothing there. There was no there. It just took several years.
Obtained by Axios. Now, again, does this put to bed like all inquiries? Of course not. People can continue to speculate as much as they want. And I think there's still open questions here regarding how did Epstein make his money? But that's a very serious.
Again, that's the one thing that just about anybody can agree on, is that we don't know where he got his money. Here's a quick tweet here from Milo saying they know where the money came from. Pulling bank records is step one in any investigation. They decided we can't handle the truth and incinerated it all. Yeah, which is most likely what happened. There's a lot of evidence that has been buried. So yeah, this is Epstein, younger one. Imagine being a math teacher for half your life, suddenly being given a $77 million mansion in New York City, along with a private jet and an island. So yeah, there he is, young Jeffrey Epstein, just a math teacher. All of a sudden, now he's a wealthy billionaire. Hangs out with other billionaires on his little pedo paradise island. Makes no sense. Thought I had another tweet. I just have so many. I don't know where to start, and they're all out of order. But here's another one here from Emerald Robinson saying the FBI, they have Jeffrey Epstein's videotapes. The FBI has Seth Rich's laptop. They have Huma Abedin's or Anthony Weiner's laptop. They have Hunter Biden's laptop. The FBI hid all these items from the public. And America is just a banana republic where the secret police protect the guilty elites. Yeah, they hold on to all kinds of evidence. And then we don't see it. And then Benny Boy is going to protect that here. Let's get back to that. Here we go.
According to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. Now, again, does this put to bed all inquiries? Of course not. People can continue to speculate as much as they want. And I think there's still open questions here regarding how did Epstein make his money? But that's a very serious open question. And the speculation for a long time was he made his money from blackmail. But the DOJ and the FBI, again, run by people like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are telling you, I'm not telling you, they're telling you, people who are members of the Trump administration, people you elected and put into these positions to get you the truth on this matter, are telling you that he didn't, in fact, he was not murdered, he did not keep a client list, and he did not blackmail powerful figures. Okay, right? That is the thing that they are saying, not I, they are saying that.
Okay. Well, you wonder what he was doing with Bill Gates or with Prince Andrew. It had nothing to do with anything. It was just
if you're willing
hanging out.
To throw that over and claim they're lying, then I'd like to see you present your evidence that they are in fact lying.
Well, Benny wants me to present my evidence to show that they are lying. Well, we've got Pam Bondi admitting that she's got all the evidence. They're there. We've got evidence. Just showed you the tweet there from who was that? Emerald Robinson here saying, yeah, the FBI is they've got all this stuff. They've got all these laptops. The problem is they grab the evidence and then they hide it. Nobody gets to see it. They covered up, JFK for 60 years, and we still haven't seen that either. We haven't got all that information. So once again, Benny sides with the establishment and plays that stupid game. And the intelligence agencies hold on to the information. So we don't know. Anyway, so the cover-up continues. Let's check out Benny's old rival, Candace Owens, who's also predicted, much like TK here, that none of this information would come out. Here we go.
So what do you think is going on with the stringing along of the release of the Epstein files? I'm a bit disappointed, and I find it slightly alarming of the promises being made and the promises not being kept. I gave my take on this yesterday, Christina. If you go back and watch it in the comments, or I think we actually covered it, but we're never going to see it because too many powerful people are involved in it, and also it implicates Israel, and we never see any files that could potentially implicate Israel. That's my take on it. So put it out of your mind. It's never going to happen. Helder writes.
Okay, well, there you go. He's right. Okay, let's take another quick look at this tweet here from Milo. This is actually Pam Bondi saying this. So what happened with Bondi?
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm that? They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now.
So, the reason we didn't get any of the evidence is because there was just so much of it that they had to go through it. But the FBI is diligently going through it all. It's just the sheer volume of stuff. And then now we're being just told that, hey, it's all good.
Ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement.
Okay, well, they've diligently gone through all of it, but we're not seeing any of it. Okay, let's put on this tweet here from Health Ranger Mike Adams. Yes, okay. Valiant Thor, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And yeah, check in another time. I'd love to have you in there. Okay, great comments. Appreciate you. Alrighty. Les Wexler financed Epstein, owner of Victoria's Secret. There is some weird stuff between the people that are acquaintances of Donald Trump and Epstein, and some of the pageantry that they were involved in, and getting women from overseas in these beauty pageants, and some of their associations. It paints an interesting picture. And there's a lot of history, unfortunately, with Trump and Epstein. I'm not saying Trump went to his island. I'm not saying Trump is complicit in having relations with minors, but something is very, very wrong. And he could. That would explain a lot, right? Because you'd certainly see, why aren't we seeing more information out if there's nothing to hide? So let's get back to this tweet here from Mike Adams, saying there was a time when I was willing to entertain the idea of trust the plan, but after the Epstein files have been memory hold, and he's not, of course, fond of the vaccine stuff, and the peace president sending more bombs to Israel and Ukraine. And we all realize we've been lied to about so many things. The idea that anyone could still trust the plan is truly idiotic. For those who still trust the plan, can you even walk us through it at this point? So as of what point is the plan supposed to actually result in the arrest and prosecutions of the traitors, the pedos, the election riggers, and child traffickers, and the blackmail engineers? Yes, the face you make when you trust the plan. We're all still waiting. Just 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. Now it's been years. And Trump is actually back in despite all the efforts to keep him out of office. And again, it started out strong, and now nothing is happening. And now things are working out poorly. There is no plan. And maybe there never was. Here's a good tweet from Glenn Greenwald saying nothing to see here at all. They looked at all the storage closets under all the beds, found nothing. Because according to this person, Matt Kennard, he was told long ago, I think this is back in, this is February of 2018, so over 7 years ago, that he was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone because he was curious. So Alexander Acosta is the former U.S. attorney in Miami, and he is currently, I believe, I don't know if he's on Trump's labor czar or something. I can't remember. I know I did see it earlier. He is an associate with Trump. So there's a connection there with some of the lawyers and Trump and Epstein. And that once you start digging in, that Epstein was a known intelligence asset. So whether that's Mossad, CIA, or both, maybe it just doesn't matter because he's collecting useful intelligence on people, compromising, blackmailing. So made quite a career for himself. Yeah, it turns out the Q-tard stuff. I mean, it was a fun rabbit hole going down, looking at all that information over the years, but really didn't lead us anywhere. It was such an exciting way to bring down the elites and the establishment, and to let Trump and the Patriots take over, save the day, save the world, and instead got led on going down the rabbit hole to nowhere. Okay. Hello, Dark Sage. Say if everything goes out about him someday, you know, the elites in Washington would concoct some sort of excuse for their actions. How exactly do you weasel out of it? If your name is on the list, if you did traffic kids and were associated with Epstein, then how do you deflect blame? Yeah, that's a lot. Some good questions there. If Trump is on there, or anybody, they're going to have to be cutting deals from behind the scenes. The problem is we don't know what's happening with any of that. And who are the good guys at this point? Who's working on our behalf? It's hard to say. And if we can't trust Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, or who else are they going to send up? Judge Jean Pirro, Janine. I don't know. See every email Acosta had come in around the Epstein deal in 2007 are gone. Yeah, Mike Benz had that a couple hours ago. Yes, I know there is. There's something going on. I don't have all of that info in front of me. There's so much of it. But now it's time. It's time to start digging into all these associations. We're not getting answers. I love Trump. I put in a lot. I've put in a lot of personal and a lot of effort, financial, everything, trying to help Trump and MAGA and to take this country back. And perhaps we've all been played and that there was no way out of this. Okay, reminds me so much of the camp excuse. They're only following orders. Yeah, that's another thing. It's just the human psychology of all of it. But there's a lot of uncomfortable realities we're gonna have to deal with today. Okay, and indefinitely, as we don't know who's running the show and can they be trusted, and what do we do? Get on board with Elon and the America Party? Do we try running something else in 2028? Is there a way out of this? Are there enough good guys, good real patriots that can actually take this country back? Here's a sobering tweet from Michael Tracy. It says, in quick succession, Trump has enabled an Israeli war in Iran, bombed Iran himself, passed behemoth legislation exploding the national debt, concealed the Epstein files, and doubled down on arming Ukraine, just as foretold by all the anti-establishment podcasts last year. Yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't change my vote, right? I mean, there wasn't really an option. It was Trump was the only one that had any capacity to do anything. Unless you want to believe Chase Oliver is the weirdo libertarian could have done something. But clearly, we're going to get anything with Kamala. So I guess we had to elect Trump. But at least, we're seeing a divide on who the real patriots are. Standing on their principle rather than just going along with the cult leader. It's time to call everything into question at this point, including Steve Bannon, who made an announcement. He said they did the Epstein announcement as a misdirection play to get everybody to bounce while they try to force Trump to do some mass amnesty. But guess what? MAGA can walk and chew gum at the same time. This is a very strange quote. We're going to listen to the audio here. It's brief, just so I can maybe run this by you guys. Try to determine what does this mean.
There's word out that how possibly did they do the Epstein announcement last night? And there is word out behind the scenes that, that was a misdirection play to get everybody to bounce as they try to force President Trump to do some mass amnesty. We'll get.
Okay. Smart guy, this Bannon. Not entirely sure I trust him. Trust him even less today. And I'm curious here. What does that mean? So he's saying the Epstein announcement is a misdirection play to get everybody to bounce while they try to force Trump to do some mass amnesty. What the hell am I listening to? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of limited amnesty because there's a lot of illegal aliens that have been here a long time, and they're probably, useful citizens at this point, and you might as well keep them. And then there's millions of invaders that had no purpose coming here over the Biden years and are probably just a drain on welfare. So they need to be removed. So that's going to be a story here at the end as well. I'm going to tie that in. But, okay, so is this all the distraction for some kind of mass amnesty play? What the hell is going on? Very weird. Here's another tweet from Milo, again featuring Bannon and Tom Fitton, who I guess is now going to be suing this administration because no one else will, and it must kill him because he's right, because this is a guy who is a good man, who seems like a good man, and he's going to be standing on principle, and he just wants answers like everybody else. We wanted Trump. We thought we had won. And now we're getting kicked in the balls. Here we go.
Brother.
Well, we saw the kind of this cluster with the release of the documents to the social media people, right? Many of whom are friends of ours, but it's fine. But then they said, well, there were materials that were withheld by the FBI. So give us all the Epstein records. We want the death records. We want the stuff about what the FBI withheld. Talk to us about how that happened, and give us the records genuinely, quite broadly. And instead, it's been radio silence. It's been 3 months of no records. We haven't even gotten the file they leaked to the social media influencers, and in court.
So all those binders. So they're being stonewalled by the administration too. They're going to have to sue to get information about it.
The other day, I think I tweeted it out. I think they used the phrase exceptional circumstances. I guess the exceptional circumstances was they were writing a memo for Axios. So the court hasn't been told any of this. They've made the conclusion that we'll get no more documents, it looks like, or a good number of documents will be withheld. And what's good about the lawsuit is that everything that they're saying here, they're going to have to justify in court in no small measure. What records are you withholding? Oh, they're under seal. Let's talk about that. Let's describe what type of records are under seal, what records can't be disclosed because they're under seal, etc. Whose privacy would be violated if records were released. All the excuses they're making here, they're going to have to bolster in court. And memo or no memo, our lawsuit's continuing.
What?
Okay. Also, a disturbing part of this clip is that as he's talking about Epstein, it's weird the body language there from Steve as he's kind of looking down.
People, right? Many of whom are friends of ours, but it's fine. But then they said, well, there were materials that were withheld by the FBI. So give us all the
materials withheld by the FBI.
Epstein records. We want the death records. We want
the records, and this is going to tie into what I'm criticizing Steve Bannon for, is he's complicit in withholding certain evidence of what's going on with Epstein in his relation, because he's very much was associated with Epstein for a number of years and has at least, I think, 15 hours of interview footage with Epstein. Where is that? So if we want evidence for Epstein, why don't we look in Steve Bannon's vault? Because he seems to be holding on to a lot of it, which is bizarre. Let's see. Let's keep moving. Actually, let me jump to this one since we're on the subject. This is where I got the thumbnail footage. I just stole it directly from Vanity Fair. Looking at Trump, so he's lots of fun to be with. This was a bombshell report that came out 2021, talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and their epic bromance. This is like beginning in the late 80s, so they knew each other for a long time. I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years that they were probably relatively close. I don't want to say that close because they're both wealthy guys doing their own thing, but they had, a lot of in the same circle of friends and associates in the same locations, New York and Florida. And of course, we've seen their pictures together. They knew that Epstein was hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. So they palled around for almost 2 decades. And they had their taste for private planes and money, real estate, models. Ghislaine Maxwell saw Donald Trump as a vital connection for her then boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein, early on. Of course, she's tied in. Her father was Robert Maxwell, who was a known Mossad agent, was a media mogul, put out yellow journalism. There's so many tie-ins with all this stuff. The associations. And Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer. That there's a lot of things to unravel there. Let's keep moving on here. Here's another one. Here's a photo taken in 1989 showing Trump and Epstein and John Casablancas, who ran a modeling agency. I guess Ivanka was part of that, signed up at age 13 together in New York. So yeah, look at this picture. This is the late 80s, 1989. Trump, Epstein, and they had friend John Casablancas, and they had pipelines to models in Europe that they would import, have parties. Let's see. Let's move on. Another one. Sorry, there's just so many tabs. Getting more into this. Here's Roger Stone actually calling out Steve Bannon. These are, obviously 2 confidants of Trump, who I guess hate each other. Roger Stone saying, why would Jeffrey Epstein associate Steve Bannon try to help Robert Mueller send me to prison by perjuring himself at my trial? So he's accusing Bannon of lying in court. Send Roger Stone to prison, his rival there, so he can have unfettered access to Trump without Roger Stone. Why would Bannon meet with Epstein both at his New York home and in Paris after Epstein was convicted on sex crimes in Florida? Why would he coach Epstein for his 60 Minutes appearance? Yeah, this is a very good question, to which even Elon Musk popped in and chimed in on Twitter to say Bannon is in the Epstein files. There you go. There's a bombshell for you. Let me find. I consulted Grok to dig into this further. So, hey, Grok, can you please summarize the history with Epstein and Bannon and what happened to the long interviews they recorded together? So, Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with Steve Bannon back from 2017. It was detailed by Michael Wolff, journalist, and the connection was reportedly rooted in mutual interests because they were both fascinated with Donald Trump. And let's see, Epstein introduced Bannon to some of his influential contacts. Bannon saw Epstein as a potential source of information, possibly due to rumors of Epstein's ties to intelligence networks. So some associates speculated that Bannon was intrigued by Epstein's reputed role as a middleman for intelligence services, though these claims remain unverified. No, this is a very important asset for Mossad, CIA, and I don't think that he committed suicide. I'm not buying any of that. think they probably kept him alive, but that's speculation. But the point is, Bannon spent significant time with Epstein, visiting his Manhattan and Paris residences. That's pretty remarkable. You're going to get flown out to Paris. It's a pretty good friendship right there. That was 2018, 2019. Sources suggest their relationship was more amicable than adversarial, with Bannon allegedly helping Epstein manage his public image because of these sexual abuse allegations. That included advising Epstein on how to handle legal and media challenges following the expose from the Miami Herald in 2018, which led to Epstein's 2019 arrest. So it also reports that Bannon may have also sought financial support for Epstein, because he's another billionaire. Makes you wonder, did Bannon go to, what do you call it, Little St. James? Did he visit the island? I don't know. I'm not making any, a week ago I would have spoken positively of Steve Bannon. But now I'm starting to get suspicious. And there are some interesting threads to tug on here. We'll see what unravels. So here's another bombshell. So in early 2019, so a little over 6 years ago, months before Epstein was arrested, Bannon recorded over 15 hours of interviews with him. 15 hours. That's a lot. That was at Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Bannon claimed that they were for an unannounced documentary. And it was going to be called The Monsters. It's Epstein's life amongst the global elite. And it was intended to expose Epstein's connections to powerful figures and how his perversions and depravity were enabled by a global elite. However, according to Michael Wolff again, he alleges Bannon was actually media training Epstein for a potential 60 Minutes interview. I don't think he did 15 hours of interviewing just to set up one interview with 60 Minutes. However, yeah, because he's coaching him. But regardless, he was coaching him to deny being a pedophile and to appear sympathetic. You knew who he was, Steve. You knew he was a monster. And I want to believe you're the good guy here. I want to believe you interviewed him, got some incriminating information. Because I would love to interview Epstein, assuming he's alive, assuming I could get that info and ask him the right questions and find out what he knows. That would be interesting. So why don't we have this information? Where are those 15 hours of footage? So as a brief clip showed up in 2021, Bannon challenging Epstein's claim of supporting the Time's Up movement against sexual harassment. But no further footage has been released since. So it's full 15 plus hours, it's unreleased, and the whereabouts are unclear. Bannon told Epstein's brother that in 2023 he had approximately 16 hours of tapes stored in a vault, and claimed that they were protected under attorney-client privilege. The FBI too. However, the brother of the Epstein noted that Bannon is not an attorney. Bannon has not shared the footage, even with that brother, and who's trying to get it after Jeffrey supposedly died in August. So speculation abounds by why the footage has not surfaced. Some suggested Bannon is withholding it for personal leverage or security. Others believe the documentary was a pretext and that Bannon's primary goal was to rehabilitate Epstein's image or gain access to his resources. So as he's willing to do business with this dirty pedo freak show, so that he could benefit himself and whatever other media endeavors that he had. So the Epstein-Bannon relationship was complex, blending mutual strategic interests with questionable motives. So Bannon says he's exposing Epstein, but that he's also aiding him, and that he's holding on to all of this interview footage that has been unreleased. So, yeah, sparking more debate about Bannon's intentions. So there you have it. Can we trust Bannon? Why would he be sitting? He's an ambitious guy. Why would you? You think he could make a fortune or at least have the rating? People want to see what Epstein's got to say. So why can't we have it? He'll complain about, oh, we're not getting any of the info with Epstein. Meanwhile, you're sitting on 15 plus hours of footage. And there's nothing there that's newsworthy. At this point, I'm questioning everybody and everything. So it's going to be a big crisis for MAGA. Oh, and I guess they did find the lost 1 minute of Epstein footage. Here it is. Here's to be Hillary Clinton. She went in. Okay, anyway. Who knows? We want to get that 1 minute. I guess Pam Bondi is saying that the footage resets every night at that time, and it is right around midnight, maybe. But I have no idea if that's even Epstein's cell. If he's on suicide watch, why can't I get a camera in the cell? Why can't they just show us that? Don't show us anything. This is a massive. They just want to bury this story forever. What a disaster. But it's only wrecking their credibility. So I don't know what they're going to do. All right, we'll keep moving. There's a tweet from Laura Loomer. We need an investigation into Pam Bondi. She has completely undermined the Trump administration and direct statements made by Trump and Vance that she should be fired. Seems like she doesn't want people inquiring about why she let Epstein get away with, targeting kids. This is back in the day. But we knew this. This is kind of old news. And she was like this, rising star, attorney general out of Florida. Worked with DeSantis. She should have been the real deal. Going to be AG. Wasn't the first choice. Should have been Gates. Wish it was Gates. But we got Bondi. Hey, without Bondi, she's the one that said that, hey, she had, all the evidence on her desk, evidence in a big truck or van or whatever. Nothing came through it. And she was perhaps involved in the cover-up in Florida and then overseeing the cover-up in D.C. in New York. Although she at least did spill the beans. I don't know. All right, getting to another question. Karoline Leavitt. One of the questions I asked was, let's see. Karoline Leavitt removed her cross for lying and sinning. So I'm going to point this out. Because she's, I guess, now part of the cover-up now as well. But it was interesting. People were very slick pointing out that after, of course, she said that, there's nothing to see here. Let's see if I can find here. Let's get to this tweet here. Karoline Leavitt said the DOJ could not release the Epstein files because it was incredibly graphic and included child porn. She says the handling of the Epstein situation has been full transparency. And let's listen to her.
DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption.
Well, no shit, but we're talking about all of the evidence. At one point, they even gave it like a number. It was like 14 terabytes or something. So where did they come up with that? So you're saying there's just 14 terabytes of just, random child porn that they just downloaded? Or were they making the films? And who was in it? Were they powerful figures inside of those videos? So people were pointing out, so apparently she's prominently always wears a cross. I like, Karoline Leavitt. I'm not trying to rip on her. It was interesting to point out, in every other speech I've seen, she's got that big cross on her neck. But she pulled it off mysteriously for this one press conference. Did it just fall off? Did she forget it? Did she left it on the mantle, left it in the bathroom? I don't know. Or did she remove it because she's a nice Catholic girl and she knew that she was going to lie and cover up the Epstein list? And so she removed it. Maybe. That's about as good of a reason. I mean, the fact that people were able to point this out, it makes you wonder. I don't know. We'll keep moving. Where to go? How about this? Elon Musk saying if Trump wins, the Epstein list is going to become public. Yeah, this was all the big hope and dream in the beginning. Let's check out this. What happened then versus now.
I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
That was the idea. So that's, Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn founder. He's a creep. And so is Bill Gates, who's also a rival of Elon. And that was the hope. We're going to change things around. Truth, justice, and the American way, baby. And Trump is the hero. Going to get to the bottom of all this stuff. And we're not. So, and perhaps they're saying that the public isn't ready for it. Maybe it is catastrophic. Maybe we'll just have to trust the idea that there's so many powerful people that it's going to, bankrupt countries, put us into war, and destroy civilization. But on the flip side, here's what Stefan Molyneux is saying. He's saying, of course, the list cannot be released. Countless people would have mental breakdowns if they were suddenly presented with the reality of the world they live in. And so it's just we're here, the edge of the galaxy, paying taxes to pedophile elites, and that they are involved in unspeakable things, blackmailing each other on little private islands. Yeah, they're not ready for that. But I mean, should the rest of us suffer? So I said the smart people must endure the dystopian tyranny to shield the stupid people from freaking out about it. But perhaps it's not smart and stupid. It should be like the awake and the asleep. The awake people that observe it, it's not really a smart and stupid thing. But it should be obvious at this point that it's us and them. And the elites are into some weird shit. That's how they keep each other in line. And I know they can pull off anything over the sheep because they'll never believe it. And so we have to endure the dystopian tyranny to prevent people from freaking out that it's a tyranny and then and then changing everything. Or not. So it's just a very silly planet and a silly predicament. And it makes me really regret this reincarnation, if that's a thing. If we all believe the idea that we all came here on the earth, we reincarnated as humans to help facilitate this change on earth, spiritual enlightenment and awakening for humankind as they take over the planet from the corrupt elites and cabal, or not. We're just not supposed to tap the glass, wake them up, because they're not ready to face the reality. Well, I say tough shit. It's gone on far enough. Here we go. Hello, got to listen in, Blake. Jumping out of chat. Thank you, Deb. It's great to have you. Or if you're going to hang on, yeah, we'll be on for Toxically Masculine Tuesday. That should be very interesting tonight. I'd be curious to see what everyone thinks about these latest developments. So make sure you tune in for that, guys. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for me and Mike Barra and Dr. Brooks Agnew and Trail Boss Steve Doran. So we cover the latest news and current events and what's going to happen with Trump and MAGA and the Epstein list. Should be explosive. Okay, TK Mark worked in a jail for many years. The camera footage in those clients under suicide precautions is absolutely not erased every day. Okay, well, you're hearing it here from perhaps an insider. Yeah, none of that makes any sense. It's BS. That's the most high-profile convict you have in the country, maybe on the planet. And it's just inexcusable that they don't have the footage and that they allowed this to happen and that we're just supposed to believe it. Hey, no, he committed suicide. He was on suicide watch, but all the cameras went out. The guards fell asleep. And that, hey, just trust us. He committed suicide with, I don't know, paper sheets or whatever. None of it makes any sense. We're all being lied to. At this point, we just have to... we have to face that uncomfortable reality. Not even Trump is going to save us at this point, unless he's playing 5D chess and he's just trying to bring in the deep state and bring in Israel, and then he's gonna show us something that no, he was actually 20 steps ahead the whole time. Nobody saw it coming. Okay, let's watch. Got a clip here from Shadow of Ezra talking about FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin telling Alex Jones that both Kash Patel and Bongino are expected to be removed from their positions soon. So wouldn't that's another bombshell here.
I think Bongino's gone by the end of the year. I think that was true before this.
Well, you think other things too.
I think that Patel doesn't make it past midterms if they decide to switch over. But I also see that Patel is actually
Bongino gone by the end of the year. Why? Because he's incompetent. He's getting too close to the truth. He's making waves. I mean, he's already shown that he's gonna play ball with the deep state, whether he likes it or not. He's gonna go along with the narrative that, well, I guess Epstein. Yeah, I saw the footage, even though all the cameras were shut off. I don't know. I think Bongino's a good guy, but I think he might be over his head. I don't know why he'd be fired as it, but I guess they're just going to find some heads to roll, make it look like people are incompetent, and that's the reason you're not getting the info. So maybe Pam Bondi goes, and then we'll see. Bongino, and then Kash Patel by the midterms. And then what? Who are we going to replace these people with? Who's going to do better? Who do we trust more? I don't know. We're running out of people. And if we can't trust Patel and Bongino, we're running out of options. We're going to get Tom Fitton, maybe. Who else?
kind of useful. He's actually kind of fitting into the role of FBI director, which is a guy that flies around on a jet and defends the FBI vigorously, doesn't do anything in particular that we're hoping he does, and takes credit for things the FBI always does, and gets him a new building. By the way, they're moving to the Reagan building. I don't know if people saw that. You guys probably covered this the other day. That's not what we said. The whole idea was to decentralize it out of DC.
Okay. Here's a tweet. I don't like this guy, but he was, criticizing Trump and the connections here. Yeah, it's the John Casablanca, according to him, had two proteges. It was Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. They were the three amigos. Both got the idea of using modeling agencies from Casablanca. The Trump model management trafficked underage Eastern European girls for years. People in New York knew as it was a public secret. Now, this person has TDS. Not a fan of Trump, but I'm not saying that this isn't accurate either. I mean, this could explain a lot. If we're looking for answers on why they want to bury the Epstein list and all the connections, you can look no further. In fact, well, let's keep moving. Former CIA officer John Kirikou claims deep state likely destroyed the Epstein documents long before Kash Patel and Dan Bongino got to the FBI anyway. Let's roll a clip here.
The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers? I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
Okay. Yeah, we're being lied to. There's a nice tweet from Sobek saying Melinda Gates must have divorced Bill Gates for just no reason at all. Nothing to see here. Bill Clinton didn't fly on Epstein's plane 26 times either. Nothing to see. Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in jail for no reason. That plays into this. It's just this joke. Well, why didn't Epstein shouldn't have killed himself because he would have gotten off, right? Take a look at some of those tweets too. Here's a meme. Can you give us the client list? Sure thing. We just need to censor the victims' names and it's gone. The old classic bit from South Park. InfoWars headline. Yeah, FBI and DOJ. Epstein had no client lists and just killed himself. Go back to bed, America. Already covered this. The former CIA officer, there's Kirikou again. Yeah, he just doesn't buy it. He knows how the people operate. Let's keep moving. Yeah, at least 60 seconds are missing from the 10-hour Epstein prison cell video. And they're promising they're going to fill in that gap. But, I mean, there's just no reason to trust anything at this point. Yeah, it jumps a little. Maybe there was something there. Maybe that footage has nothing to do. But maybe Epstein wasn't in there. The camera would be in the cell, not outside. How would you keep somebody safe on suicide watch with a camera like that? They just think we're stupid. But Trump is praising Kash Patel and Bongino as the outrage grows over the whitewash report. Also sending more weapons to Ukraine just days after Pentagon warned of depleted stockpiles. Although I think, to be fair, this might have something to do with the mineral rights deal. Is that we continue to fund them with weapons. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not what we want to see. Okay, but then Trump responded today about the Trump this. He got called out about the Epstein thing and did not go over well. As this tweet here from John Harold is pointing out, this is not going to appease MAGA, the real ones that stand on principle. So here was the response to everything, the huge controversy that came out over the weekend. People were confused, wanted answers, wanted more information than that stupid memo. Elaborate. This is what we got.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa.
That's right. Former labor secretary. That's where I missed it. So it was something. I said labor czar. It's the labor secretary who is connected there. Alex Costa knows Epstein, knows Trump, knows about the cover-up. What's going on?
He allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the
Yeah, sure.
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Huh? Are you still talking about Jeffrey? Who's that? Come on, I love Trump, but this really pisses me off. Really? You gonna sit there and play stupid about this? We're all pissed. Thought there was a comment about this. Yeah, it was Dark Sage. How do you deflect blame? I guess, yeah, you can just pretend like, why is this even a controversy? He knows that people have been talking about this for years, but he's also has at least a 15 to 20 year history with Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. They used to be friends. So don't act like this is like weird. It's not. So it's not going to go over well. People aren't buying this bullshit. You just said there's nothing to see. No suicide, no lists, no nothing. Forget about it all. And then you're like, why are people still talking about this? Really?
He allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the step?
Yeah, sure.
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things.
Blackmailing high-level people in government. And you told us that he committed suicide in a prison without any evidence. He's your associate, tied up with intelligence networks, which could be affecting our foreign policy for all we know. Or who knows how many bills have passed or money was spent, or who knows what the fallout is from, people in compromised politicians voting a certain way or doing things a certain way because they're compromised. And now all of us have to go along with those consequences. This is so bad.
And are people still talking about this guy? This creep?
Talking about this guy?
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind.
Wow, like we don't even deserve an answer. Fuck you. I mean, it's just ridiculous. As soon as I question why I even, bother even in doing this news shit, why do I waste hours a day prepping for shows, all at my own personal expense, whatever. I feel like I'm compelled to do something or to help my country somehow. I'm not going to get any answers from the mainstream media, so I might as well just do my own, because I can read between the lines. I think I can discern fact from the fiction, or a lot of it. So this is why I do this stuff, and I volunteer. I don't know in particular what to do. I don't know if this is ever going to launch a career. I've pretty much given up on that. I don't know what to do with this one. I don't like marketing myself. I just feel like, oh my God, we got to do something. This is our country. I care about the future and our civilization. But I feel kind of betrayed here. I put in a lot I've sacrificed a lot. I've thrown away so many years of my life in trying to, do something good and help Trump, who I thought was a difference maker. And he was the only candidate that really offered something that could have. So, I mean, I guess I don't regret anything. I mean, it's. I mean, I'd love to do it all over again, because why would I even bother with this shit? I feel like I've wasted years of my life trying to get this guy into power, and now he's just betraying everybody. So we could finally get the truth. But we're not. We just got screwed. It wasn't really other choice. It's just, which way do you want to get screwed? Do you want to get drunken, cackling Kamala? Or New World Order, the vegetable Biden, neocon Nikki Haley? I mean, we know where that's going to lead us. Hillary Clinton, Jeb Bush. Really aren't a lot of good ones. So, anyway, I don't know what to do. I mean, I have no idea if I'm going to continue doing broadcasts, because what am I fighting for at this point? He just let us all down, and now he's playing stupid. This is not a good look.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
We're asked, how dare anybody ask a question? We don't deserve one. This should have been gone a long time ago. He just committed suicide in a jail cell, and all of the information he had just disappeared. Cool. So, I don't know. Does it mean I'm going to join the Democrats? Am I going to get on board with Elon's America Party? I don't know. I don't know whose side do I even sign up for. Seems like it's a lost cause. I don't know. Only Jesus can save us now. Maybe I'm going to find God, because I'm not a religious guy. But man, maybe I can just hope that maybe Jesus comes back and takes out the bad guys and saves the day. I don't know. We're not. We're Superman, baby. At this point, it's going to take a miracle. Yeah, releasing everything was going to be part of the platform. I don't know if the Epstein was a promise, but it was going to be, RFK, MLK, JFK. And then the Epstein was going to be a bonus. And then it looked like that we were going to get that. It was like, wow, we're going to change everything. We're going to turn this whole country around. We're going to get the leftists on our side. They're going to realize that they were lied to. MAGA was telling the truth. The conspiracy theorists, not all of them, but a lot of them were correct. The critical thinkers, they were right on things. They got it right. The mainstream media lied. And the establishment politicos lied. And Trump came in, the outsider, and changed it all. Or not. So, yeah, here's Dr. Simon Godek saying he's done with politicians who protect pedo sex traffickers. Epstein's clients are still roaming free. Trump calls it a waste of time to talk about it, yet he always has time to meet with Netanyahu at the White House. and going golfing. I can't even eat as much as I want to puke right now. Trust the plan. Wake the fuck up. Clint Russell. Now the FBI concluded Epstein blackmailed 0 powerful people. You have 100% confirmation that he was blackmailing the most powerful people on earth. Alex Jones, DOJ running cover for the CIA and Mossad. No one is buying this. Next, they're going to tell us that Epstein never even existed. Over the top sickening. Clint Russell, another tweet from him saying he's not calling for violence. He's just saying historically that any government who would cover up for a sex trafficking ring of minors to the rich and powerful would be justifiably overthrown by any means necessary. Epstein worked for the Mossad. That's why they are lying. Yeah, it could be Epstein or Mossad, CIA, whatever. It's an intelligence asset. And yeah, our forefathers must be rolling in their graves, wondering why we're not rising up and hanging these. I don't know. It's very frustrating, or at least tarring and feathering people. Our forefathers would have handled things a lot differently, and they've already outlined everything. It's our duty to overthrow a government that is not working on our behalf. It is clearly now it's the elites versus us. So this has been a setback for the Patriots here. Another one. This has been maybe the worst gut punch. Okay, we'll keep going. How about before he was in office, Dan Bongino told Tim Pool a story that Epstein was an intelligence asset for the Middle East.
About a year and a half after...
For a country in the Middle East.
About a year and a half after that, I'm in a green room at Fox, and I'm not going to say who because they didn't give me permission to share it, but the short story, but not who they are. It says, you know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. But this person, who is a very, very good reporter, I mean, aces, right? Swore Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff. So the point is, the
Middle East country is Israel. Israel. Let's just say it. Okay. Yeah, which is odd. I can't believe Epstein killed himself right before he was about to be acquitted due to a complete lack of evidence. Right, so why would he do that? There's nothing. And then again, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? But hey, Benny Boy Shapiro says, hey, if you got the evidence, show it. Well, they hide all the evidence. Then say, where is it? Sickening. All right, here we go. I'm disgusted. DOJ threw the Diddy case, and they're covering for Epstein. I no longer believe the DOJ will do anything real. There are no real changes coming. There will be show arrests, but the deep state will continue. Here is a Jeffrey Epstein victim.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped.
Constant stream of girls getting raped over and over, and she was there. I mean, she could be full of it. I don't know. I'm not saying she's this is the 100% truth. I don't know, but it's possible. If she was there and she's saying this, then we should be taking her claims very, very seriously. But they don't want to know that. They don't want the public to know anything about this stuff. Okay. They care more about a different country. It seems like that's what this is all about, unfortunately. Let's take a look at this. Trump's State Department spokesperson, Tammy Bruce. This was a couple weeks ago. People were freaked out. This is an awful look from this administration. The State Department spokesperson, where are her loyalties at?
The pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people. And in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel.
Wow. The greatest country on earth, America, up next to Israel, which is, I guess, the greatest country. Imagine this. Your State Department spokesperson thinks Israel is the greatest country on earth. I guess we're just here to serve them. Seems like it. No, I had another twist. Let's get a couple more. Let's see. You got Schrodinger's list. Yeah, Pam Bondi. List is.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Bannon and with Ted Cruz. And one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you. I saw your appearance at CPAC with Bannon.
Okay, so what happened to that? We're just being gaslit now. Schrodinger's list. It exists, but we don't know what's in it. Apparently, it was all about nothing. So, makes you wonder, where are our loyalties? Who's running the world? This is a damning tweet. It says Netanyahu is the greatest man in the world. We can run this clip.
Do you think that there can be a two-state solution that creates an independent?
I don't know. I'd ask Bibi that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that.
The greatest man in the world, according to Trump. Yeah, I'm not a religious guy, but I would say, like, if there was an antichrist, it would be Bibi Netanyahu. That is an evil motherfucker. I'm sorry, I don't know. It seems like he's a demonically possessed with the voice and that big ugly grin and the war crimes. I can't stand this guy. And for the last couple of weeks, we just went through the MAGA civil war. That is who's running the show here? Is it Trump or is it Bibi? Is it Israel that is controlling Trump's moves? Are they dragging us into a war with Iran? Are we constantly being dragged in to fight their battles for them? People said no, and then Trump just went in and he just did some airstrikes, and the conflict was over, so we didn't get dragged into like a boots on the ground next Iraq, next Afghanistan type of conflict, which was great. And we thought, oh, okay, well, I guess, yeah, Trump is his own man. He does his own thing. He's just playing along diplomatically with Bibi. But no, he's trying to protect him now. He was supposed to be on trial for a corruption trial last Monday. That I don't know if that even came to effect. It was for some petty stuff anyway. They should have arrested him. He's still in D.C. Arrest him. Turn him into the ICC. The man is a war criminal. I got no love for Hamas or radical Islam or not picking sides in Palestine, Israel. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't care. But the man embroiled us in so many conflicts, and he is committing atrocities in Palestine. There are tens of thousands of innocent women and children getting killed, that are dying, and are still starving because of Bibi Netanyahu, his 30% approval rating, his continued clinging to power. He will not go away. Sorry for this fake little country. I'm sorry. I'm over it. These people are they're imposters. Bibi Netanyahu, these East Europeans that have no bloodline connection to the Hebrews, have taken over Israel, colonized, and now we're supporting them in whatever endless conflict they want to get us involved in. I'm so sick of it. This alliance has got to go, but it looks like this is it. Now you're passing all this, legislation to can't criticize Israel. It's anti-Semitic. Everything's anti-Semitic. Got to support Israel. You got to give them all the money and resources. Go to war with them, whatever they want to do. I'm over it. Now he's praising Bibi. Give me a break. This is over. You have multiple GOP. There are such a weird, disproportionate number of Zionists that are in the upper cabinet. Yeah, multiple GOP politicians. The IDF is the most moral army in the world. You got Ted Cruz saying that he ran for Senate to be Israel's greatest defender. The FBI director has said that we will prioritize Israel. The deputy FBI director, that'd be Bongino, saying a cause close to my heart, Israel, defending Israel. I think they're just mocking Americans at this point. It certainly does feel that way. It looks like we are an occupied country. I don't think Israel is our greatest ally. I think this has been a failed experiment. And now they're still running the show. It's clear now. It wasn't a couple weeks ago. I was giving Trump the benefit of the doubt. But now I'm really kind of buying into this. This is over. It's Bibi Netanyahu that's in charge. This is a fallen planet. Got Demon Bibi. Okay. Here's an interesting tweet here from Health Ranger. Well, this is not his tweet, but this is from, I never heard of this guy, Pastor Rick Wiles, saying something even more controversial than I did about Israel.
And our leaders are low-life scum that screw little girls so the Jews can screw America. That's what's happening in this country. I just said it. That's what's going on in this country. And our FBI.
Wow, that's some pretty bombshell from a man much more prominent than I am. Dropping some bombshells there. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with this. He believes this. Health Ranger says there's something to it. And something is very wrong here. We're just letting Epstein off the hook.
FBI is corrupt. The Supreme Court is corrupt. The Justice Department is corrupt. The news media is corrupt. The whole country is corrupt. Because we've walked away from Almighty God and we've allowed Kabbalah practicing Jews to defile the nation. Put that video out. Go ahead and clip this video and send it out. I dare you.
Okay, well, I took that dare, and now I'm playing it right now, my friend.
You won't do it because you're
how much I believe it, but I will do it.
Scared that the truth may get out to the American people. I'm had it up to here with the corruption in this country. Little children being raped for the benefit of Israel. That's all it's about, Doc.
Let's say it's all because of the benefit of Israel, but it's their intelligence apparatus and the corruption of the Bibi Netanyahu regime is become a big problem for us. And they've infiltrated and corrupted our upper cabinet and so many people in politics and in the news media. It's sad. So this is not an anti-Semitic thing. This is not an anti-Jewish religion thing. This is the nation state of Israel. It's becoming an abomination. It's a failed experiment. This is not biblical Israel. This is a weird artificial construction full of Eastern and I have more probably Semitic, probably more bloodline attachment than those guys do. And they are running that country and masquerading as the Hebrews of the Old Testament. They are not. They are not God's chosen people. I'm not buying any of that. Okay, but it appears they are controlling and pulling the strings on our government. All right, moving on. Tweet from David Icke calling out Luke and pretty much anybody in MAGA. It's kind of saying, I told you so, and you should have seen this coming. That David Icke is very upset for people falling for the MAGA trap. And saying, yeah, is calling out Luke here for being stupid enough to urge people to vote for Trump. But at least, MAGA, again, people standing on principles, not people. So there are people that are upset, including me. I'm upset today. Calling this out and questioning whether I'm going to continue making shows going forward, because I don't know who the good guys are. I don't know what the resistance is. Don't know what the Patriots are going to do next. Looks like MAGA is going to be divided. David Icke, I've got a couple of his, I've read a bunch of his books. I've been reading his books since 1998. I have not read these last two books because they're freaking enormous. Look how many pages there are. Can't even get them on the camera. Okay. But just to follow up, just to be honest, just to check David Icke's references for all the Trump stuff, because he's been bashing Trump for a while. It appears, and I've gone through all the references that are in the books about the warnings. He's not really a part of the, the kind of the blue blood establishment, but he's basically just saying that he is kind of controlled by the people at the top who, in his mind, are, the Zionists. But I mean, kind of all the candidates seem to be, it's the illusion of choice, and we didn't really have anything there to choose from. So I don't know if we can really criticize ourselves for voting for Trump. Who else were we going to do? We had to see it. We had to give him a chance, and if he fails, hey, at least we're calling it out. Unlike the leftists, the last 4 years, who would prop up Biden no matter what he did. It was the lockstep leftists. And now you're seeing, at least difference of opinions in MAGA and people calling out Trump. So, but anywho, I was gonna kind of go into more details about that, because there's a lot of references and it's trying to kind of dig to the bottom. Try to find a solution. It's easy to criticize everybody in this and calling out the narcissists and the grifters and so much. Trying to put their solutions forward and try to figure this mess out if we can get out of it. But I don't know. So, actually, speaking of that, asking me if I'm left or right. Technically, I guess I would be more to the left, but not to be associated with the Democrats, the modern Democrats, or the leftists. I'd be more of a classical liberal, but also a Ron Paul Republican or a MAGA Republican. But I'm just an independent at the end of the day. I guess socially liberal, fiscally conservative, sort of libertarian, but then the libertarians would never accept me because they would call me a statist. What are you talking about? I don't know. I only got 2 people watching. Well, I guess it's on the YouTube. I've only got a couple people watching there. Ignoring the chat. You're on it right now, dude. There's a delay. Sorry, I'm ranting. I didn't see you. But thank you for your 2 cents. I restream to multiple platforms. But thank you for joining in. I'm going to be cutting this broadcast. I've only got a couple more stories to get into, and then I'm going to call it a day. I'll be back tonight for Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Okay, let's get a couple more quick stories. Actually, let's run back to the headlines. We'll answer what I can, cover the rest, call it a day. Here we go. So there's no evidence of Epstein's list or blackmail. That's total BS. We got a lot of it, and they're not giving us access. And now they're just saying, oh, it was all just child porn, so we can't see it. And so, okay, nothing to see here. And why are we even talking about this still? Okay, how about Epstein files must be buried to protect the CIA in Israel? No, fuck that. We're done with that shit. We must know something, but it's very frustrating as an outsider to just try to trust the plan and trust that there's good people and something good is eventually going to happen. I'm over that. The list cannot be released to protect the people. Hey, time for a rude awakening. You can't sleep all day. You've had long enough. The rest of us aren't going to live in a fucking absurdist dystopia to protect you from dealing with the painful reality. Okay, how about we should continue to trust Trump and trust the plan? Man, he's got like a very small window here to redeem himself after this. That press conference didn't go too well today. Acting like this wasn't a big deal. He should, if he's hiding something, he wants this buried. Him, Bannon, and so many others. And maybe you'll see, maybe the reason they think Bongino is going to get fired is because he's pissed that he knows there's a cover-up. He's going to be a squeaky wheel, and they're going to send him on his way. They want to see if he's going to play ball, keep the cover-up, or they'll toss him. They'll find somebody else that will. I don't know. Hold him to NDAs. Make sure he can't, disclose any information. That could be. But I'm losing my faith. This has been going on for years, and this has been a very painful setback. All right, next, Trump and Bannon are complicit in Epstein cover-up. Yeah, we've already seen. Bannon's got 15 hours of footage at least. 15, 16, whatever. He was palling around. After they had exposed that he was a perv and a monster. You still had Bannon reaching out and trying to get some of that dirty money. That needs an explanation too. Okay, so the Epstein announcement is just a misdirection. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. I need more info. I need Steve to elaborate a bit more on that one. We should investigate Pam Bondi for undermining. I don't see any reason. Is she undermining anything? She was there perhaps to cover up the Epstein thing in Florida and brought in for a very specific reason in this administration to cover it up some more. So do you think that it's just everything is because of incompetent Pam? Are they going to put somebody else in there and things are going to change? She said she had the evidence on her desk. She said they had tons of evidence stored at the FBI, and she got on the phone and made a call, made a big van or truck or whatever, and they just needed time to sort it all out. Nothing happened. But if you think replacing her is going to make a difference? No. Especially if Trump is involved in that. That's his buddy. Not saying he did anything dirty. It might not even just be protecting himself. It could be protecting, people he cares about that are close to him that did do something bad. But is that more important? Keeping his alliances and friendships, is that more important than the truth for the rest of us? I don't know. Next, Karoline Leavitt removed her cross for lying and sinning. I'm going to go with it. Yeah, why not? Otherwise, she's got to explain what happened to your cross. You wear a cross every day. You took it off the day when you basically perpetuated a hoax on us. So I'm going to say that's why she did it. But God sees everything. Right. All right. Trump's true loyalties with Israel and the neocons. Yeah, I'm going to have to go along with that. And I'm not plugging this book particularly. I bought it as a reference. I respect David Icke. He's a smart guy. He's well researched. I take his opinion seriously. He's going into the whole, Zionist stuff, and I guess I have to go along with that as well. I gave Trump as much of a chance as I can, but this was a big problem this week. All right, next one. Trump deserves to win the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025. Well, we'll see. There's got to be a lot. First of all, the Israel-Iran thing's got to totally stop. The Ukraine and Russia thing, that's got to go. He said he could do that in 24 hours, 48 hours. It's probably a little too much, but he's still giving money to, we just gave some more weaponry to Ukraine as part of our deal. But he just had a phone call with Putin. The war is still on. There's no peace talks right now. So that doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. And really, the whole point of that was just so Bibi could kiss his ass on the world stage. But again, I don't know. He's like, Bibi's the one that's, he's the most powerful man on the planet right now. Let's take a look. Here's, Epic Times. Netanyahu nominates Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, he's just trying to butter him up. They know how to work with Trump. Netanyahu nominates Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump pledges to send more weapons to Ukraine. Benjamin Netanyahu landed in the U.S. this morning, is set to become the fourth leader in history to visit the White House 3 times in a calendar year. The current record, who are the other 3? It's also Bibi Netanyahu. Here he is getting welcomed in. I want to throw up. This should be the part where they leaves one vehicle and then gets shoved into the back of a police car and hauled off to the ICC to face charges of war crimes. But instead, we're shaking his hand and inviting him to the White House. And then,
the president has already realized.
There he is in his demon voice, presenting Trump. So this fucking war criminal who's just authorized tens of thousands of people slaughtered in the streets of Gaza is now kissing Trump's ass and offering him a Nobel Peace Prize, at least his endorsement of one. What would it matter coming from this guy? It's just disgusting.
Great opportunities. He forged the
great opportunity.
He's forging peace as we speak, in one country, in one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you.
Oh my God. Just trying to get his alliance. Trump, like I said, Trump should have that dude arrested. Gone. ICC. We could solve a hell of a lot of problems in the Middle East by getting rid of Bibi. But we won't. It's a Nobel Peace Prize. Give me a break. All right, moving on. Last one. But I mean, yeah, if he can orchestrate the end of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, cool. If he could tell Bibi to go away, if he had Bibi arrested and we could put an end to the conflict in the Middle East and have him put new leadership on Israel where they're not constantly starting off problems with their neighbors and then asking us to get involved, that would be peace in the Middle East. That would be a Nobel Peace Prize right there. You just handed the biggest war criminal on this planet. You just took Lex Luthor and gave him to the ICC, and now he's going to be at the Hague. He's going to be tried for war crimes. That would be worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize. But that's not what this is. Okay, last topic. Democrats should get shot to ramp up resistance. According to their internal polling, these people have lost their shit. Told to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. Is that town halls in their districts and in their one-on-one meetings with constituents and activists, Democrat members of Congress are facing a growing thrum of demands to break the rules. So they see a growing anger amongst their base that has, in some cases, morphed into a disregard for American institutions, political traditions, and even the rule of law. So this idea that we're going to save every norm and that we're not going to play Republicans' game, I don't think that's resonating with voters anymore, and that's according to one House Democrat. Another told Axios that there's a sense of fear and despair and anger. Well, maybe because of the bullshit that's being perpetuated by your propaganda networks, constantly demonizing your fellow Americans. And as much as I'm pissed off at Trump right now, I don't think that, with this TDS is helpful either. They've spread so many lies about Trump, turning him into somebody much worse than he actually is. Well, I want to believe he's a good guy, but you know what? I think he's compromised here. With Epstein and Israel, there's something off. The mystique is gone. Axios spoke to more than 24 House Democrats, some requesting anonymity to offer candid insights about their interactions with their constituents. So their Democratic lawmakers have fumed at their base's demands to fight harder. They got people that want them to do something. They're getting accosted by angry Democrats, probably fueled by their media, to say how bad that Orange Hitler is. So they want them to do more, and some of them have suggested that they should be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal agencies. So their own base is telling us what we're doing is not good enough, that there needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and public, that civility isn't working, and to prepare for violence, all to protect the illegal invaders that have come into this country, that are using up resources. It's amazing. Let's run a clip on that and see. There's this is a good show, or at least it's gonna be fun. The Piers Morgan. They put some colorful characters in there, including this cartoonish leftist here. I think is Brian Shapiro, talking about this, having a little back and forth with Jack Poso. Let's check this out.
For decades, and ICE agents coming up to them, not identifying themselves, ripping them from their families right outside of the courtroom. They're trying to do the right thing, or sending people to El Salvador prisons with no criminal record.
They have not sent anybody to El Salvador that did not have a criminal record. The one person, Abrego Garcia, did turn out was involved in human trafficking associated with MS-13, wife beater, criminal gang member. So that was their one hero, the Maryland dad. But it's bizarre watching these leftists freak out, meltdown, all to in favor of illegal alien invaders who we don't know if they even have any loyalties to our country, if they're working, if they're providing anything, or they're just leeching up our welfare, taking jobs away from other people. We've got enough problems of our own here, and we're fighting for people that came into the country illegally, a lot of them with criminal records and what have you.
That's fighting for the country while Donald Trump is doing this weird masturbation dance on July 4th when dozens of kids are missing.
The masturbation dance while people are missing from the flooding, which was horrific. Awful, but you can't blame Trump for that.
In Texas, that's fighting for the country, Jack? No, I'm sorry. That's the opposite of...
Because I guess somehow Trump shut off the emergency alert system in Texas. It happened in the middle of the night when everyone had their phones shut off. Nobody knew. It was catastrophic, but leftists will never, they'll stop at nothing to blame Trump for everything.
Fighting for the country, okay? You know exactly what dance I'm talking about, Jack. I'm sure you do it every night before you go to sleep.
Yeah, the masturbation dance. All right, that's a lame joke, but whatever.
I think you do, Jack. I think
that's
you
what
do,
you're
Jack. But the
thinking
point
about
that
when
I was
you go to sleep, man.
Okay, well, the point that I was...
Again, these people are just these cartoonish villains that just play these little sideshow characters for the... I guess, yeah, it's a good poster child for the modern radical left.
Trying to make, Jack, as you said, that MAGA Republicans are fighting for the country, deporting people
so
and ripping
illegal
up
aliens
parts of the
aren't part of my
Constitution.
country, and in short work, they won't be because those aren't Americans; those are illegals.
So they don't.
Yeah. So again, not American, not like migrants that came in the right way, that wanted to be here, and they're going to do something. They're not just going to live off of our resources. They came here to live better lives for themselves. No, they're just escaping one hellhole and then turning this country into another hell.
Deserve due process? What does it say in the Constitution?
So we have to give due process to illegal alien invaders. That's what this guy is standing up for.
And it says every single person, not citizen, not non-citizen. The Constitution says
subject
every
to the jurisdiction
person, okay?
of. It says subject to the jurisdiction.
Okay, so you think that
legal aliens are not
so
subject
someone
to the
should be
jurisdiction.
deported to it?
We actually went
so
through
you're
this last
okay
time
with
we were
people
here.
being?
You don't have any new.
So you're
talking
okay
points,
with
do you?
someone being? Yeah, no, it's not a talking point. It's called reality, Jack. You don't live in reality. You live in MAGA world, and you take the Ben Shapiro
my
talking
reality,
points.
they're all going home.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
In this guy's reality, it's okay that millions and millions of people, I don't know, 11 million or whoever, hard to get the numbers, came into this country illegally over the last 4 years, and that it's okay. And we just let them stay here. And they deserve due process. These people are lost their shit. I don't know. Well, it's been a tough day. America is falling. Hopefully we can turn things around with the economy. Tariffs, BBB, fight against BRICS. We'll see. I don't want to get blackpilled, but this is I got to deal with the reality. So who knows? So not a good day. Not a good situation for MAGA, but anyway, we'll get it over with. We'll move on. We'll hope for better days ahead. Although this one hurt. So there you go. Yep, fine. Bye. It hurts. All right. Well, anyway, that's all. That's all I've got today. Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry, it wasn't better news today. But all right. Well, that's all I've got. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. We'll do it again next time, perhaps. I'm not gonna quit tomorrow, but I have to change my approach, change my philosophy, or do I rebrand some other way? Not that I have a brand. Do I go pro-Trump, pro-MAGA, pro-Patriot, pro-Elon? Is there a side to pick? I'm just going to call it like I see it. And keep plugging along, I suppose, until I find a better approach. But thank you for putting up with me. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Please tune in for the Toxically Masculine Tuesday. That should be a riot. And that's all I've got. So thank you. We'll see you next time, 4 o'clock Thursday for the next show. We'll take it from there. And hopefully it was just Trump pulling some 5D chess shit. And we'll turn everything around. I'll have a newfound respect and a newfound hope. We can dream. We'll see. But thank you much. Have a good one, and we'll see you then.